In the last session, we were discussing regarding testing and verification, the difference between testing and verification, and the different types of test, that is functionality test, silicon debug, and manufacturing test. So we'll continue with the discussion. Let us look into logical verification principles. Under this, we'll be discussing regarding test benches and harness, regression testing, version control, and bug tracking. Let us see what is a test bench and harness. So, during the manufacturing process, prior to manufacturing, we'll be designing a circuit and we'll be giving the inputs to the circuit and we'll be checking if we are getting the desired response. If we are getting the desired response, fine, that means it is performing the function what it is intended to do. This test bench or a harness, it is a piece of HDL code. A test bench is an HDL module that is used to test another module, and that module is called the device under test. The inputs are applied to the module under test at each cycle, and the outputs are examined to determine whether they are same as that of the predefined. The test bench contains statements to apply inputs to the device under test and ideally to check that the correct outputs are produced. The input and the desired output patterns are called as test vectors. Some tool also call the module to be tested as unit under test. The test bench must evolve to ensure that all the units work together correctly. The next type of testing is regression testing. When regression testing is done, let us say already we have tested a module, we have looked into different cases and we have got the right output. Now we have edited the program, or maybe we have added additional features to the program. In this case, we need to recheck. This is called as regression testing. So this regression testing is a testing done to check that a system update does not reintroduce errors that has been corrected earlier. This regression testing is defined as a type of software testing to confirm that, or to make sure that, a recent program or code has not, that means a recent change in the code has not adversely affected the existing features. Regression testing may be a full or partial selection of already executed test cases which are re-executed to ensure existing functionalities work fine. This testing is done to make sure that the new code changes should not have side effects on the existing functionalities. It ensures that the old code still works once the latest code changes are done. Regression testing is required when there is a change in requirement and the code is modified according to the new requirement, or maybe it is required when a new feature is added to the software. So this regression testing is very important in case we have modified or edited the existing program. Let us see what is a version control and why it is required. See, every time a software is developed and working fine, next to add features, that particular software will be upgraded and a new version is available. Version control is a system that records changes to a file or set of files over time so that we can recall the specific versions later. Version control systems are a category of software tools that help a software team manage changes to the source code over time. Version control software, it keeps a track of every modification that is done in a special kind of database. If a mistake is made, developers can turn back the clock and compare earlier versions of the code to help them fix the mistake while minimizing disruptions to the other team members. That is why version control is required. Let us see what is bug tracking. Bug tracking, it is very essential in the design or development cycle to make sure that system on chip design bugs are resolved and traced. Bug tracking, it is a process of capturing, reporting and managing data on bugs that occur in the software. The bugs are also called as errors and exceptions. The goal is to maintain high product quality using two types of services, that is, task management systems and bug capturing tools. Bug tracking tool supports reporting the design issue, tracking the status of the fix, solving the design bug and confirming that the bug is resolved by re-verification. Jira, Mantis, Bugzilla are the well-known tools used for bug tracking. Coming to the manufacturing test principles, a critical factor in all the VLSI design is the need to incorporate methods of testing the circuits. This task should proceed concurrently with any architectural consideration and should not be left until fabricated parts are available. Here you find two circuits. The first one is a combinational circuit and the second one is a sequential circuit. So sequential circuit, it is combinational circuit with memory element. So in this example, let me consider that there are n inputs in the combinational circuit and there are m registers in the memory element. So to test the combinational circuit, 2 to the power n inputs or so many test vectors should be applied in order to observe or check all the outputs. With the inclusion of m registers in the combinational circuit, it becomes a sequential circuit. So in case of a sequential circuit, 2 to the power n plus m test vectors must be applied in order to completely check the functionality of the circuit. So with the large scale integration, let me consider an example where number of inputs n is equal to 25 and the number of registers m is equal to 50. So 2 to the power 75, that is 2 to the power n plus m, that is 25 plus 50, which is equal to 2 to the power 75. So many inputs should be applied, so which is approximately 3.8 into 10 to the power 22. So many test vectors are available. Assuming that one had the patterns and applied them at the application rate of 1 microsecond per pattern, then it will take nearly billion years in order to test all the inputs. Even with the availability of multi-gigahertz processor, this becomes really infeasible for most of the system. So the manufacturing test engineers must cleverly devise the test vectors so that they can detect any defective nodes without requiring so many patterns or the test vectors. We can incorporate the following methods for testing the circuits, that is by using fault models, observability, controllability, fault coverage, automatic test pattern generation, delay fault testing. Let us see what is a fault model. Why to model the faults? A fault model is an engineering model of something that could go wrong in the construction or operation of a piece of equipment. From the model, the designer or user can predict the consequences of this particular fault. So the designer or user, he gets to know what is the kind of error that has occurred in the circuit and what is the effect of that particular error and how that error propagates in the circuit. So all this information can be obtained. This fault model, it identifies targets for testing. In general, we can say the effect of the fault is represented by means of the model. This is called as a fault model, and this fault model, it represents the change the fault produces in the circuit signals. This fault model, it makes analysis possible and the effectiveness can be measured by set of experiments. The fault can be of logical type, parametric or delay fault. So in case of a logical fault, it causes the change in the logical function of a circuit element. Let me consider an example of an AND gate. We know that the output of an AND gate is 1 when both the inputs are 1. For other cases it is 0. Right? So because of logical fault, maybe there is a change in the logical operation. Okay? And in case of parametric fault, this kind of fault, it changes the magnitude of the circuit parameter. This may cause the change in some factors such as resistance, capacitance, current, voltage values. Or maybe the fault can be of delay type, that is there may be some circuit delay such as slow gates. Usually that affects the timing of a circuit and which may cause hazards or it may also lead to the performance degradation. Here in the case of fault models, we'll be discussing two types of fault models, that is struck at fault and short circuit and open circuit faults. Let us see what is struck at fault model. In case of struck at fault model, the given line has a constant value. That value can be either 0 or 1 independent of other signal values in the circuit. When a signal or a gate output is struck at 0 or 1 independent of the inputs to the circuit, the signal is said to be struck at, and the fault model that is used for describing this type of error is called as struck at fault model. So here the gate input is modeled as struck at 0 or struck at 1. So in the diagram you can see that A and B are the two inputs. So whenever I speak about the structured fault model, the fault, it may occur at the input end or it might occur at the output end. So here in the diagram you can see that the output line is struck at 0. Okay, so here in a OR gate, you know that when any one of the input is 1, the output is 1. But here you can see that the output line is struck at 0. That means it is connected to ground. So irrespective of any inputs that is applied, output will be always equal to 0. This is called as struck at 0. Struck faults occur when a line is permanently struck to VDD or ground, giving a faulty output. This line may be an input or output to any gate. Also, this fault can be single or multiple struck faults. This happens during the fabrication, so maybe because of the knock sides, either terminal, it may be connected to VDD or it may be connected to ground. So in this case, any inputs you apply, it will consider that line, particular line will consider it as 1 or 0, and it may not be dependent on the input that is given. Okay, so this fault can be on a single line or it may occur in many lines or multiple lines. To use this fault model, each input pin on each gate in turn is assumed to be grounded, and test vector is developed to indicate the circuit is faulty. Hence, if a circuit has n signal lines, there are potentially 2n struck faults defined on the circuit. So what we need to do is, we need to check if the circuit is working fine or not by connecting a particular line to 0 and checking what is the output, and then each of the line is connected to VDD and it is checked what is the output when the lines are 1. So here in the circuit you can see that struck at 0 fault and struck at 1 fault has occurred. So struck at 0, this kind of fault occurs here at the input end because it is permanently connected to ground. So irrespective of any input that is given to this input line, it will always consider that input as logic 0. And in the second figure, that is struck at 1 fault, here you can see that one of the input line is connected to VDD. That is, in this case, irrespective of any inputs that is applied, the input through that line is always treated as logic 1. Okay, this is struck at 1. So struck at 0, this fault occurs when a line is connected to ground permanently, and struck at 1 fault occurs when an input line is connected to VDD permanently. So here in the layout also you can see that a struck at 1 error has occurred because the layer, it is connected permanently to VDD, and struck at 0, this fault occurs when the line is permanently connected to ground. To check the functionality of the circuit, we use a test vector. What is a test vector? This test vector, it is a collection of bits to apply to the circuit's input and a collection of bits expected at the circuit's output. If the gate pin under consideration is grounded and this test vector is applied to the circuit, at least one of the output bits will not agree with the corresponding output bit in the test vector. So we know the functionality of each and every circuit. Say it is not possible for us to check for all the combinations of input, because as the number of inputs goes on increasing, then the number of combination of inputs that is 2 to the power n, it also goes on increasing. So it really becomes highly impossible to test the output for all the combination of inputs. So we check the functionality of the circuit using test vector. So test vector, it will contain the information regarding what should be the output for a specific pattern of input. Suppose there is any error or fault in the circuit, in that case we don't get the correct output. This is how we check whether the circuit is functioning correctly or not. So after obtaining the test vectors for ground pins, each pin is connected to logic 1, that is, it is connected to VDD, and again the output is checked. So each of these faults is called as struck at 0 or struck at 1 fault respectively. This fault model, it dates from board level designs, where it is determined to be adequate for modeling the faults. The faults may occur because of various reasons. It may occur due to gate oxide shorts. Here it might occur because the NMOS gate is connected to ground. So NMOS gate, when it is connected to ground, that means it will be in off state, and or PMOS is connected to VDD. So PMOS gate, when it is connected to VDD, then that means the PMOS is in off state, or it may occur due to metal shorts. These are the reasons why struck at 0 and struck at 1 fault occurs. Let us consider an example. So here you can see a NAND gate. So when both the inputs are 1, the output is 0 in case of a NAND gate. Okay, so here the output has to be 0, and here to an OR gate, logic 1 and logic 0 input is given, and this logic 1 is given through a inverter. That means here for 0 and 0 input, the output has to be 0, and inputs for the second OR gate, when both are 0, output should have been 0. But here it has occurred. Here you can see at the input line of the second OR gate, the line is struck to 1. So in an OR gate, irrespective of the other input, output will be 1. So in the second OR gate, one of the input is 0 and another input is 1. So we know that in an OR gate, when one of the input is 1, irrespective of the other input, output is always 1. So according to this circuit, we should have got the output as 0, but we are getting it as 1 because of the input line that is struck to 1. Okay, this is called as struck to 1. So in the gate level, in the layout, you can see that the output is shorted to 1, that is, the output is shorted to VDD. This is struck at 1. Then other type of fault is the short circuit and open circuit fault, also called as struck open and struck short faults. And these faults are generally referred to as transistor faults. A short circuit may be formed because of unintended connection, that is, a connection is not there, and this connection may be established at the time of fabrication. Then open circuit fault, it may occur because of discontinuity in the connection, or maybe because of breaking the connection. Let us look into an example where the line, that is the input line A, and the ground is shorted. It is represented as S1, and one more short is represented here in the circuit, where the line connecting C and D, it is shorted to the output end. So here, because of this short, that is the shorting of input line to ground, short at 0, that is struck at 0 takes place, because irrespective of whatever inputs that is applied to a input line is always at logic 0 as it is shorted to the ground. And because of this short S2, the functionality of the circuit changes. So look into the layout for the same. So here you can see that because of the short S1, A is permanently connected to ground, which is called as struck at 0, and because of the short S2, the circuit, it behaves in a different way than it would have functioned. So here in the circuit you can see that because of an open circuit, so this is a circuit for 2 input NOR gate. So AB, PMOS is connected in series, and NMOS, it is connected in parallel. So this behaves as 2 input NOR gate. Suppose there is a open circuit, what happens? Let us say, suppose there is a open circuit at A. So this circuit, which was acting as a combinational circuit, now acts as a sequential circuit. So as if it behaves as if a feedback is connected. So the expression is changed to Z is equal to complement of A or B, or with complement of B ANDed with Z complement, where Z complement is the passed output. So this is how a combination circuit has been converted to a sequential circuit because of a open circuit. So this is represented using a layout which is shown in the second figure. So because of this open circuit, or because of this breakage, the combinational circuit has been converted to a sequential circuit. This is the layout for 2 input NOR gate. Here let us consider a fault that has occurred because of the drain connection of a PMOS. So here you can see that the drain of a PMOS is shorted to VDD. This could physically occur if the stray metal, so this may be caused by a speck of dust at the photolithography stage, overlap the VDD line. So if we apply the test vector as 0 1 or 1 0 to the inputs A and B, and when we measure the static current, that is IDD, we will notice that it rises to some value which is determined by the size of the NMOS transistor. So this is all about struck at 0 and struck at 1, as well as short circuit and open circuit fault.